Okay. Did anything interesting happen last week? Seriously, I cannot remember. Oh, wait. What's going on, guys? Dick Support here, back to another video. Today, I am talking about the Week 9 picks, which means we have reached the halfway point of the season. Hard to believe. Wow. This year's going by pretty fast. It's kind of scary. Let's talk about these games. Okay, our Thursday night game. Texans, Jets. The Jets lost to the Patriots. Not good. Very not good. This team is just not good. There's no other way to put it. I mean, they're 2-6 right now. They'd have to go on a run just to have a chance to get to the playoffs. Houston, meanwhile, they are definitely one of the best teams in the AFC, although they just lost Stephon Diggs to a torn ACL, and they're still waiting for Nico Collins to come back. I'm going to go Texans on this one, but the injuries have got to stop for them. They really do. Dallas taking on Atlanta. Atlanta, they've done a complete 180 for me. I mean, they right now are the favorites in the NFC South. They are coming off a win against the Buccaneers in Tampa Bay, no less. They are playing like the team we thought they could have been when we were talking about them in the offseason when they got Kirk Cousins and a new head coach. Meanwhile, for Dallas, I mean, they're the exact opposite of what they were last year. First of all, they're missing a lot of key pieces. We already know that, but they're very inconsistent as well. It's like they can rebound 1 week and then back to what they showed us 2 weeks ago. It's just not good for the Cowboys right now. I'm going to go with the Falcons. Denver taking on Baltimore. Baltimore, how do you keep doing this to yourselves? How? How do you keep losing games like this? You cannot keep doing this. You lost to the Browns. The freaking Browns. Jameis Winston threw all over the field. Right now, you have the worst pass defense in the NFL. If you don't get it fixed soon, you could end up with the worst pass defense in NFL history. I know you were down 2 starters, but still, that was a pathetic performance. Yeah, I'm going to say it. That was pathetic. Meanwhile, for Denver, they're getting better. So is Bo Nix. And right now, I would say Bo Nix passed for over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, and the Broncos win. That's what I'm going with. Baltimore, get your act together and get it fast. Miami taking on Buffalo. Division matchup. And Buffalo has played like how we thought they would play. Miami, they got back to it, but they still lost to the Cardinals. In fact, the defense let them down. The Cardinals came back and they won on a last-second field goal. I mean, Miami, they are just not a playoff team this year. They have just not shown anything. They are the same record as the Jets are right now. 2-6. Again, they would have to go on a run to have a chance to get to the playoffs, and I just don't see them beating the Bills in Buffalo. I'm going Buffalo. Saints taking on the Panthers. For the Saints, they have lost every game since starting 2-0. I mean, it's just not looked good for them. Well, at least they're not the Panthers. I mean, Panthers did win a game. However, that's all I can say. I can't keep finding new ways to talk about the Panthers. Although they did just trade Deontay Johnson to the Baltimore Ravens. I forgot to mention that. Yeah, it's just not pretty for the Panthers or the Saints right now. I'm going to go Saints. Raiders taking on the Bengals. For the Raiders, they kept it close. I will say that. They kept it close against the Chiefs. But, man, I really don't know where the Raiders are going to go from here. They have 2 wins on the season. They have dropped 4 in a row. And I just don't know what the future of this team is going to look like. Hopefully there's a new quarterback in there next year. But that can only take them so far. I just don't know who's going to be on the Raiders in the next few years. It's just tough to get a hold of this team right now. Meanwhile, for the Bengals, they're 3-5 right now. This is a critical part of their season. If they want to get back to the playoffs, they have a little room for error. And as for this game, I'm going to go with the Bengals. They cannot afford to lose this game. Chargers taking on the Browns. For the Browns, they just had a game plan. They just had a game plan, ran with it, and that's how they beat the Ravens. They just stuck to their guns. They were able to just make mincemeat out of that Ravens secondary, and they came away with the win. All right? That was a great win for them. Meanwhile, for the Chargers, they're coming off a win as well. They gave up a safety in the first quarter against the Saints, but then after that, they dominated that game. After the first quarter, it was just all Chargers. And I'm liking how the Chargers are looking. I think they definitely can compete for a playoff spot, but we'll see where they can go towards the end of this season. We'll see what this team looks like, and I'm going to go with them over the Browns. Washington, that was an amazing play. That Hail Mary, it's the play of the year. But you never should have been put in that position. You were driving the ball, but you couldn't score until that Hail Mary. And as amazing as that play was, and it's definitely the play of the year, I don't think anything's going to come close, you're not going to bank on that 2 weeks in a row. Alright? You got to find a way to get into the end zone before the very end of the game. And I know people are going to say, oh, it's only the Giants. Look at what happened with the Browns and the Ravens. By all marks, Baltimore should have annihilated the Browns, and that didn't happen. I'm going with the Commanders in this game, but Washington, they need to be at their best. New England taking on Tennessee. This is pretty much a draft position battle type of game. Yeah, I mean, that's where we're at. The Titans have 1 win. New England has 2. New England, Drake May was out with a concussion. Alright? We don't know if he's going to be able to play. Meanwhile, for Tennessee, well, we know what happened with Will Levis. Mason Rudolph is playing. I'm just going to go with the Patriots. Bears taking on the Cardinals. For the Cardinals, I mean, they've been putting up a fight in most of their games this year. And it's been interesting to see. I definitely like where this team is going in the future. Meanwhile, for Chicago, brutal loss. I mean, that's just brutal. However, they are definitely a good team this year. I definitely think they are going to be competing for a playoff spot, even though, would I consider them the worst team in their division? Yes. However, the NFC North is just very, very good this year. So like I said, I definitely think they are going to compete for a playoff spot, and I wouldn't be surprised they are in the playoffs if they continue to play like they're playing. And that's why I'm going with them over the Cardinals. Jacksonville taking on Philadelphia. Jacksonville, not good. I don't know what to say about this. Doug Peterson, he's hanging on by a thread right now. Philadelphia, they're starting to put it together. Had a nice win against the Bengals. I'm going with them over the Jaguars. Okay, this is the game of the week right here. Detroit taking on Green Bay. I mentioned the NFC North is the best division in football. Alright? And this is the epitome of it. For Green Bay, yeah, they got a close win against Jacksonville. It shouldn't have been as close as it was, but they got away with the win. That's what matters. They somehow got the win. But for Detroit, they were outgained by the Titans for 200 yards. Tennessee outgained them by 200 yards and controlled the time of possession. And Detroit still put up over 50 points. 4 turnovers and poor special teams play is what led to the Titans' downfall. Detroit just took advantage of all the mistakes that Tennessee made. Detroit, they are the team to beat right now in the NFC. And I'm going to go with them over the Packers. Rams taking on Seattle. For Seattle, I mean, this is the definition of an up and down team. 1 week, they're really good. The next week, they don't look as good. Meanwhile, for the Rams, they're starting to get their pieces back, and that was a good win against Minnesota. I actually did not see that coming. Them beating Minnesota. I really did not. I'm actually going to go with them over the Seahawks. Speaking of Minnesota, they're taking on Indianapolis, and Indianapolis could have beaten Houston. Alright? They could have had, they had better quarterback play from Anthony Richardson. And the Colts agree, because they have benched Anthony Richardson, and Joe Flacco was back as a starting quarterback. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with him taking over. Meanwhile, for Minnesota, they dropped 2 straight. They got to get back on track or else they're going to fall out of this NFC North race, which is hard to believe because they were undefeated 2 weeks ago. But I'm going to go with the Vikings. And our Monday night matchup is going to be Tampa Bay taking on Kansas City. And for Tampa Bay, I mean, it's just been rough for them because they don't have the top 2 targets and they're coming off a loss to the Falcons. I mean, they need to win this game. The problem is the Chiefs are undefeated, and it doesn't seem like anybody can beat them right now. It doesn't matter who's off for the Chiefs. Somebody picks up the slack. And right now, Patrick Mahomes does not look like the Patrick Mahomes that we are used to seeing, but it really doesn't matter. and we know he's going to pick it back up. I mean, I got to go Chiefs on this one. And again, I just don't see a loss on this Chiefs schedule. I mean, they're going to finish the season undefeated. I'm calling it right now. They're going to finish this season undefeated. Alright guys, those were my thoughts on the Week 9 matchups. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. As always, I'll see you guys next time.